Hey guys, Ralph here, and today I'm going to show you how to replace your spark plugs as well as your ignition coil on your Nissan Juke. First thing is we want to remove this engine cover. Next is you want to remove this clamp using a 10mm socket and ratchet. Then wiggle back and forth and should come right off. But before that, we're going to remove this bolt supporting the hose with a 10mm wrench. And we need to remove this clamp as well so we can put the hose out of the way. Remove the boost control solenoid using a 10mm socket and ratchet. There's also a small clamp hose on the bottom that you need to remove as well. Remove these two nuts on the intercooler pipe using a 12mm socket, ratchet, and extension. After removing the nuts and bolts, you can now pull out this intercooler pipe. Now that all the pipes are out of the way, we can now have an access to all the spark plugs as well as the ignition coil. Before we try to remove the spark plugs, we're going to disconnect the battery first just to be safe. You don't need to remove both terminals of the battery, just the negative terminal is good. Just make sure that the negative terminal is not gonna make contact with some metal. I'm also removing this part right here just to make the removal of the ignition coil much easier. Use a plier to remove the clamp and 12mm to remove those two bolts. So we have 1, 2, 3, and right here is the other one, 4. Using a 10mm socket, ratchet, and extension, remove the bolt holding the ignition coil. The ignition coil is connected by this wire. You just need to press this bottom part so the ignition coil will be released. Remove the spark plugs using a 14mm socket. This is the spark plug socket, ratchet, and a long extension. Before we install our new spark plug, it needs to adjust the gap. This one's not a pre-gap spark plug, so we're going to adjust it to 0.035 millimeters. And as you can see, I already adjusted it close to 0.035 millimeters. Before installing the new spark plug, apply some dielectric grease on the spark plug to prevent boot fusing and voltage leaking. Install the new spark plug using a 14mm spark plug socket, ratchet, and a long extension. And to prevent cross-threading, try to install the spark plug first by hand and then use the ratchet after. Once you installed all 4 spark plugs, torque it to 15 foot-pounds. After installing the new spark plugs, we can now install the new ignition coil. And that's how you install and replace spark plugs as well as your ignition coil on your Nissan Juke. And if you think this video is helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and always thanks for watching.